So the question that's on everybody's mind, did Mama Snip 4 and her psychic predictions about the home inspection go as she said? Or did she fail miserably? So to recap, first of all, the inspection is done. The inspection is done. Just right off the bat, so I don't keep you waiting. You know, the suspense is killing me. There's no real major stuff, right? I'm totally happy with what came back, even though there's some issues that need to be dealt with. Nothing major to me as far as I'm concerned. Remember, I read you what Mama wrote a few days ago, several days ago, 7:10 p.m. on 6/20/2017. So again, that would have been, today's the 26th as I'm doing this evening, 6 days ago. And again, my mom did not know anything about the house other than, oh, your sister told me you guys are looking to get a house. That's all she knew. My sister didn't even know because I didn't even tell her which house it was yet. And I'd mentioned to you guys there was a lake, you know, close by that you know, was a good thing because I'm a water kind of guy. I like having, whether it's a boat or jet ski or something. That's, you know, Florida. I always had a boat a couple times, 2 or 3 times in my life, I should say. Jet ski a couple times, boat 2 times, you know. So having a lake, you know, within driving distance, etc., and that kind of thing is a good thing. So she says a house near water, lake, question mark. And I already read you this, so you already know, but I just want to go over it again. Move. A woman is going to be prominent with purchasing deal. So one of the people I'll be dealing with during some of the loan process, which was originally was a guy, his name was also Joe, by the way. He put me in contact with one of the people that works with him, and she introduced herself, and hey, I'll be the one dealing going forward, yada, yada, yada. Happened to be a female. So that's interesting. Because my realtor's a male, and the loan guy was a male. Inspection. So here's the inspection part. Walked during heat. Inspection. Will find. So, and I asked her about that. And she said, you know, like, I feel like maybe there might be a room that's a little warmer. The inspector, he may pick up on this. There could be like a room that's just hotter than the other rooms, or just, you know, it's like a room where even though the air's on, it's not quite as hot. I mean, not quite as cool as like another area or something like that. That's what she told me. So keep that in mind. And then she said there's 2 things that are, of all the inspection, there's 2 things that stand out to her that will, you know, will need to be fixed, essentially. Like, in other words, you can't just say, okay, I know about it and leave it alone. I know about it, and as soon as I move in or whatever, I'm going to try to fix it, that kind of thing. 2 things need fixing. Water/plumbing, fill in ground equals puddle. Oh boy, hang on. Wait till I show you this. Mama, ooh, she didn't mean to make me cry, but when she told me that in advance, this time tomorrow. Come on, where is it? Where is it? The really lengthy one, you know, it's super detailed about the whole house. I'm trying to get up to the spot because there's a picture of the area that I need to show you. Let me show you something. Oh, hang on. Trying to get there. I'm trying. Wow, I'm only halfway up. Let me do this. Hold the phone. I'm keeping you waiting. Just stand by. Of course, I could always pause this, but suspense. It's killing me, and I want you to share it with me. Has to do with an upstairs bathroom. Oh, is that it? No. Upstairs bathroom. Upstairs bathroom. Come on. You know what? I'm pausing. Stand by. All right, here we go. Check this out. Observations. The shut-off connection between the half bathroom sink leaked when operated and should be corrected to avoid cabinet damage. So I'm going to show you. Well, actually, no, I'm not. There's too much information on this screen. He took a picture underneath the sink, and I can see wetness underneath the sink where the two shut-off valves for hot and cold, little twisty knobs. And I can see the water where he was saying, so the valve or whatever part of it, or whatever leaks when you mess with it, needs to be fixed. So he put that out there. So again, two things need fixing: water, plumbing, fill in, ground equals puddle. And she originally said it could be like a pipe or something like under the. Remember, she said under the sink. Doesn't, it's not dangerous, but it needs to be fixed. It'll be that kind of thing. He's gonna let you know about it. She said the other thing it could, might be, and she said it would either be the inspector or it might even be when the owner takes you for a walk around the property and is showing you stuff and says, oh, we fixed this or we fixed that kind of thing. That there's something about water puddling up and they filled it in. It's no longer an issue, that sort of thing. Or the inspector would find that and I would be made known about it. Hey, in this back part of the property, there's like a little dip. It needs to be filled in. Or he could say, I can tell they filled it in, and there may have been something there, such and such. And that's what she said, and I told you that last time. Roughly that's what it was. So that's what she says. Two things need fixing: water, plumbing, fill in, ground equals puddle. This is a pipe. It's leaking, essentially. It's the valve, technically, that connects to some piping. And it's leaking under the sink, the half bath. And it puddles. It's puddling up under there, of course. Again, I'm just saying. What was the other thing? Yeah, that was other stuff. It wasn't related to the house. So anyways, there were several things that came up in this particular house. But of them, that's one of the biggest ones that needs attention, okay? And then the other one, excuse me, is the second one that needs attention. And when I went there to meet the inspector, he wasn't even done yet. Of course, I just went there, and my mom came with me. Now I didn't ask her then to say, like, or tell the inspector, hey, my mom said, I just left it quiet. That way, in case the inspector brought me over somewhere to say, hey, let me show you this. If my mom was standing there, hey, she called this, by the way, But that never happened. He was doing his own thing. Me and my mom were just kind of looking over the house, looking at the property and talking. And then we left. And then I got the email, a couple days later, whatever, with the attachment. So all of the stuff, and again, you're going to see this is pretty minor. Electrical outlets. Electrical outlets in the master bathroom were operable at the time of inspection, but had no ground fault circuit or GFI protection. One of those GFI type of sockets. He just says, consider installing a GFCI protection of outlets within 6 feet of any plumbing fixture. It's standard procedure kind of thing. And he's right. I know every bathroom usually has those, the little button you can press to reset. And he shows a picture. Here's the light, the outlet, and there's no GFCI on it. Again, not a deal stopper by any means. And certainly it wouldn't be something it needs my attention right away, like the sink would. So remember what she said about the heat thing, right? Walk during heat, and inspection will find. Thermostat and response. The thermostat was difficult to operate. At the time of the inspection, the heating system did not respond to the controls. The inspector recommends that a qualified technician evaluate and repair the systems. However, he said it was difficult to operate. He may not have, I found out he may not have known how to turn it on properly. Which is why the realtor told me, by the way, when we get closer to really finalizing this, the owner's going to take you around the whole property. He says he got a lot of really neat things to show you and how to operate everything, because you're not going to understand it unless he shows you. That's what he told me like 2 weeks ago. So I'm under, first of all, the AC unit, it's 2 years old. The roof is about 2 years old. I mean, right? There's not a chance in hell the heater doesn't work. You know what I mean? His first comment, the thermostat was difficult to operate, so maybe he didn't operate it right? So anyways, HVAC temperatures. The air conditioning system operated but did not produce adequate return airflow. The inspector recommends service by a qualified HVAC technician. Air temperature measured at supply and return registers had a difference of less than the minimum of 14 degrees Fahrenheit. The inspector recommends service by a qualified HVAC technician. So that could be a heat issue. It's not cooling like it's supposed to. I'm not sure what that means as far as I know what the return and the supply mean, and I know clearly there's going to be a difference in temperature. I don't know what the minimum or whatever. I don't know what the hell that means. All I know is the 2 or 3 times I've been in this house was during Florida heat, and the AC was on. I think it was on 74, and it felt great inside the whole house. I can tell you that much. But heating problem. He couldn't get to work. Mom, walk during heat inspection. We'll find. Air temperature, again, same thing. The bathroom exhaust vent terminated in the attic space. The inspector recommends correction by a qualified contractor. And what he elaborated on that was, normally when you have a fan, exhaust fan in your bathroom, it goes up through the roof or out the side of the house and the top of the roof, one or the other. And this one just terminates inside the attic. And he commented how that can potentially cause mold, moisture, and things like there to get into the roof. You don't want that because, bathroom, whatever, shower, steam. Again, is this an emergency when it get in there? No, it's not. One or more junction boxes visible in the attic were missing cover plates. A junction box for electricity is when you have all these wires, you have the main wires coming into a room and it's on like a 20 amp circuit or 15 amp circuit or whatever. And you have to run one set of wires to that outlet, this set of wires to the ceiling fan up there, and this set of wires to another outlet. They're all on the same circuit. That junction box is where you do that. And normally there's like a, 25 cent or 50 cent plate. It's about this big that slides over. There's 2 little screws and holds it on. That's it, right? Complete minor issue. It's up in the attic, for God's sakes, right? But he has to know, tell us. Not a big deal, right? At the time of inspection, the dead front cover was missing and should be replaced by a qualified electrician. Now, the dead front center, when you have a main or any type of fuse panel, not talking about the attic anymore, this one happened to be the one that has to do with the pool. I can tell it has something to do with the pool because it's all right there. When you lift up the big box lid, underneath that should be a nice flat plate where you flip the breakers and stuff. You're not supposed to be able to see behind there and see the wires. That's the case. So it needs a plate. Now, not the same little square one I'm talking about up in the attic, but what is called a dead front cover. Again, minor issue as far as I'm concerned. Now, I wouldn't want my kids out there messing around. Not that they should be flipping things open like that. And it does have the little lock thing on it. I can just stick a lock on it. But again, whatever. One of the breakers was quote unquote double tapped. Normally from the breaker panel, you run one wire only to wherever you're going. Then you put the junction box and you can split it off there. Someone double tapped the breaker. Again, not a deal stopper. A label identifying electrical outlets on one of the breaker panels wasn't, they didn't pen in where it went to. That's another thing he found. Hot and cold connections. There's an outside by the pool sink faucet area, or not area, but sink / faucet. And it's got one of these, knob style where you push and pull and turn it down or up. And he said they're flipped from hot and cold. When you do this, it should be hot, and that one, or that down should be cold, hot, and the regular out should be cold. They're flipped. So basically, the lines need to be flipped underneath. Again, not a big deal. That's it. That's the whole bad news of the house for the inspection. So we have, out of all that, my 2 major things were clearly the sink, the little leak thing of the or whatever the hell it is, the valve. And that dead cover, what do they call that? Dead panel, that drop dead Jason Ip4. What's it called? Dead front cover. That's to me, that's the 2 biggest things with that. The second I walk into this house, I'm handling business. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. I'm going to find the cover that needs to go there, and I'm going to fix that little, why can't I keep wanting to say faucet? It's a valve. It's a freaking valve. You want to know something? I used to work on water softeners in the late 1990s, in between when I was doing the auto mechanic thing. I've plumbed in water softeners with copper, with PVC. I put in a number of those things, including valves, like ball valves we used a lot. But you'd think I would remember that. But anyways, Yeah, I'll handle business over there. As you probably heard from my conversation with Frank at lunch, I bought 20 panels, 270 watt, A type of panels. Again, A, B, and C. I'm gonna give you a little solar panel education 101. An A panel means if it's rated at 275 watts, you're probably going to get 285 or more, basically more than 275 watts. You may get 280, 285, whatever. That's an A panel. A B panel means if it's 275 watts, you're getting 275, and that's what it measures. You're good to go. A C panel means it's probably like 265 when it should be 275. And usually there'll be a greater discount on the panels. So the panels I happened to get were A. Okay, and they were like 34 cents a watt. 10 of them were like 900 and something bucks. I'm like, oh my God, they're that cheap. I didn't really think about it. Holy crap, give me a pallet. Pallet's got 20, send them to the house we're renting. I'll stand them up in the garage, and we'll be bringing those babies over to whatever house we move into. If it happens not to be this house by chance, whatever house we ultimately buy, we'll have the panels. Again, fingers crossed. I've got a good feeling. I think this is going to work. With this house, I really want it to badly. So does my whole family. So that's what we're shooting for. In the garage, 3-car garage, separated from the house. And it's in the right path of the sun during all seasons. It will get light. You know what I mean? Not perfectly on the solar panels through the whole year. That's impossible unless you've got panels that can actually tilt and follow and track the sun. But nonetheless, I'm thinking, okay, both sides of that roof, I'm going to put some panels there. If I could fit 10 and 10 on it, fantastic. I got a feeling I might be able to do 8 and 8. Which is still pretty good. I was able to get a 6,000 watt, and I'll tell you the actual brand, just in case you're wondering. I should have that in my email. Yeah. It was first of all, the solar panels were Trina, Trina, 72 cell, 275 watt modules, grade A. 6,000 watt continuous power inverter made by IG Plus, I guess. IG Plus. 10-year warranty. It's a split phase, as they say. 208 or 240 output, etc. Anyways, I got that for $700. I did look afterwards and found some on eBay brand new that were like 800 plus like 90 something dollars to ship it. I got this for 700, the panels and all. I got all of this included in shipping for $175 for the freight. They're freighting it to my house. Now, granted, they're in Miami. It's about a 3-hour drive, 300 miles or so. But maybe it's a little more. Maybe it's more like a 4-hour drive. I'm thinking for $175, you're going to bring it to my house. Where do I sign up? Here's my credit card over the phone. Please handle business. Actually, it was a debit card. They took care of it. It may be here tomorrow, which is the day you're going to be seeing this video. It may actually be coming. If not, it'll be the next day. The good news about these kind of solar panel or this inverter, you can daisy chain all of your panels. So if you have 20 solar panels, and these happen to be 36 volts each, which I'm going to do the math right now. 36 volts times 20. 36 times 20 is 720. So we're going to cut that in half, right? Which would be 36 times 10, 300, of course, 360. He mentioned to me, the guy, and this is Sun Elec down in Miami, S-U-N-L-E, no, E-E-L-E-C, Elec, like electricity, sunelec.com. They can handle the range. It says is it needs to be, you need to feed it with 230 to 500 volts DC. So if I cut those panels, 20 of them, and make it 10, I'm at 360. I'm good. The issue though is, well, it's a 6,000 watt system. This thing produces around 5,400 watts. I want to use all of it with 20 panels. Well, he said, don't worry. The inverter has like 4 different inputs. So one input can handle 230 to 500 volts DC. The next input can handle 230 to 500 volts DC. And the third one and fourth one can too. So I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. So I can daisy chain, or they call run in series. one panel to the next panel to the next panel. So it's like 36 watts or volts plus 36 volts plus 36. Next thing you know, again, you got 360 volts coming out the end. You feed it right into, call it channel 1 on the inverter. And then you do the same thing with the next 10 of panels on channel 2, we'll call it. And then it just takes both in, and there you go. Now, as I mentioned, this one is not the kind where you have battery backups. If the power goes out, it gets on the battery power and that sort of thing. I have one of those. But I'm probably going to give that baby away to Pastor Dowell up in Tennessee. Little bonus to him. I really only want this thing so that I can backfeed or grid tie it, which it is a grid tie inverter, so that I can, all day long when it's producing 5,000+ watts or whatever, when the sun's out, I want to be sending that back to the electric company. Because this is a much bigger house. I've got a pool, even though it's a salt type of pool. It does have 2 AC units at the house. Sneaky suspicion, my electric bill is about to go up. You know what I mean? So it'd be nice to be pumping, 4,000 or 5,000 watts continuously for the most part when the sun's out. Most of the, call it 8 hours a day, roughly. And have a nice, cheap electric bill. That's the plan. The beautiful thing is, I could probably get another one of these things, inverters, in another, 10 panels or so somewhere on the property, and make a little makeshift kind of a spot for them, maybe next to the garage, where I build a little platform and they sit there next to it, and up the wattage. I mean, literally, if you put enough of this on your property, you could literally be getting a paycheck from the electric company because you've sent back more power than you've used. I'm going to tell you now, it's going to take you a lot of solar panels to do that. Probably not something you would really want to mess with. But in theory, you could do that. And that's what the law states, and I'm pretty sure all the states, I know Florida does, they've got to pay you for what you've produced. And they'll actually come out and put a different meter, a second meter on your house, strictly for the solar panels, because now with the, the smart meters, at least over here, they told me that the Tampa Electric told me, if you're feeding your house with one of these solar panel systems where it's grid tied on a smart meter, the smart meter will not know that you're helping out, and it will literally charge you for the extra power you're creating. So you're going to get an even higher bill. So I'm like, okay, well, when I do this right and, get a house and whatever, and do this, I have to get it electrician approved, that sort of thing, make sure everything's done by code. They'll come out and inspect it. Okay, well, and then they'll bring out and install a second meter that strictly they will program it to feedback, to where they know it's counting the electricity that they're that I'm making, that they have to pay me for, so to speak. Chances are I'm still going to have an electric bill at this house for sure, but rather than maybe a $300 or $400 electric bill, I'd like to have 150. And I don't even know what it's going to be, to tell you the truth, but we don't keep our house too cold either. Just the way we are. We're usually running, believe it or not, 77 degrees. That's how we roll. But anyways, just want to keep up to date with what happened. I think it's safe to say my mom did pretty damn well. I think you guys would agree. So take care.